All right, weekly wealth walk this week. We're heading into a new year. A lot of us are going to be focused on goals, New Year's resolutions. I'm going to teach you what I am doing during this period. I'm going to show you the exact tools, and I want you to learn about it so you can use it. Stay tuned. This is going to be a deep dive behind the scenes like you've never seen before. Check it out. All right, Jerry Fetta here, CEO of Philanthro Wealth, heading into a new year, ending 2024. It went by so fast, and it's so funny because it's like when I was growing up, I was like, why do adults always say that, right? And then I'm an adult and I'm like saying that all the time because it's true. It's like the year went by so quick. And I look and we got a lot of stuff done this year, right? Like just a quick recap, like I grew my company, I hired people, I started a new company, I moved, I did a bunch on personal development, I did, a lot of investing, donating, helping people, like just an action-packed year for me. And also a year of transition of like, moving into and solidifying like what is it that Philanthro Wealth looks like? What is our vision? What's our mission? And all these kinds of things. So as I'm wrapping up the end of the year, and I don't do this once a year. So I'm going to share this with you today because I want to share with you the tools I use for my goal setting. But as I'm wrapping up the end of the year, I'm looking at like, okay, what do I want 2025 to look like? Right. And it's interesting because sometimes I know and I'm like, okay, I want it to be very specific and it's this and I have this number and this target. There's been times in my life where I know that, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. It's that specific. And there's also times where I'm like, I don't know totally, but I know the general direction I want to go in. And as I get there, I'm sure I'm going to get more clarity. And the key is to keep moving, especially when you're talking business and investing. The ultimate thing is it should be aligned with your big visions, your goals, your purposes. And that way you have the flexibility to say, hey, this is the right thing. I'm going to keep going in this direction because it makes sense and I have that clarity. Or maybe this is not the right thing and I know that and I'm not going to keep going in that direction. And that's kind of where I'm at this year, where it's not like in 2025, at the end of the year, I want this specific number, this specific thing. Right now, I have a number of opportunities and I have a couple of different things I have to consider and a few things I need to make sure are taken care of as I roll in 2025. Right. And so it's a little bit more vague for me. And I want to show you the template, the format that I use to think through this.
Next, I don't want to interrupt you too long. I just want to give you a free offer for my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. If you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get the book now. I'm going to let you get back to the video.
Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen on this and let's talk about a company setting, but you can do this for your own personal life. You can do this for your investing, whatever it be. The first thing that I want to do is I want to figure out what am I doing? How am I doing it? And at the very bottom, I want to keep it aligned with what have I done? So what have I done? What's my track record? Okay. So these are questions I ask myself. And I start with what have I done? What have I accomplished? So I look back and I'm like, okay, in 2024, not just in 2024, I can look back as far as I want to. I've done this. This is my track record. This is what I've produced. This is what I'm good at. Here's where I have results. Here's where I'm consistent. Okay. I want to make sure anything I do capitalizes on this. Okay. Because if I don't capitalize on that in some way, shape, or form, what I'm doing is I'm having to reset. And I've reset before enough times that I know you lose years when you reset. So if I'm like, okay, I want to get in good physical condition, for example, as a goal. I want to grow my business or whatever it would be. And I'm like, okay, great. I have done sales. I have done marketing. I have done management. I've done finances. I've done investments. And these are the things I've done. That's my track record. But I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to get into the restaurant business. Never done that before. Okay. I'm going to spend years learning the restaurant business to get into the position that I'm already at today with the financial business, for example. Okay. It would be foolish unless I really am passionate about restaurants where I'm like, yep, I'm willing to burn 5 years on learning restaurants so I can have that as my thing now. But otherwise, I need to look at it and say, okay, well, I have these skill sets. I have this track record. I'm going to build my 2025 goals on those things. Lots of people fail on this. They don't know the difference between goals and wishes. And sometimes when you have a goal, you're not the one who has to achieve it. So if I wanted to be in restaurants, I could say, good, I want to invest in restaurants. Someone else who already knows that space, they're going to do the work. Not me. I'm going to focus on the things that I know. Right? So I'm going to focus on what have I done? Okay. And then I'm going to look at what do I want to do? Okay. That's the what and the how. What do I want to do? How am I going to do that? Right? So let's say I want to start a charity. Let's say I've done things that make me think, okay, I could start a charity. I've got the skill sets for that. I've got the knowledge. I've got the track record. Yeah, that's the what. I want to start a charity. How am I going to do that? Okay. And this should be broad and general. We're not getting into planning yet. Okay. We're setting our North Star. What do I want to do? Start a charity. How do I want to go about that? What is the charity going to be? Who am I going to help? Like, these are the how, the questions, some of the mechanics. I need to figure out a little bit of that. And then at the very top, after I have decided what do I want to do based on what I've done, I need to be able to answer why. Why do I want to do that? Okay. My confusion on this, probably my early 20s for a couple of years, was the idea that I had to start with why. Because I heard books about that. Start with why. So I was like, what's my why? Right? And think about, what is why actually? Why is a probing question in response to something else that happened first? Anytime you've asked why, somebody said something first, and then you were like, well, why? You don't just ask why for no reason. So you need to have your reason, your what, and your how. I'm going to do blah. Here's how I'm going to do it. Good. Why? Why do you want to do that? And that gets me to the root of like my goals. Like, I want to do that because I want to help. I want to make an impact. And it's got to be deeper than money. It's got to be deeper than just, money is probably the lowest thing. Personal gain would be not much higher than that. Like, it needs to go beyond just what I'm going to get, the money I'm going to have, the gain I'm going to get. It needs to get into like my level of like my value and my responsibility. Like, I value this and I really believe this is important. That's why I'm going to do it. Nobody else is doing it. I need to take responsibility. I need to get something done in this area because it's important. That's a good reason why. Okay. That's the effect I want to create. So I figured this out. Okay, good. I've caused this before. And that makes me think I can accomplish this. And here's how I'm going to do it. And here's why I'm going to do it. And as I take this framework, I can then start to like run these three things off of each other. And here's the thing is like when I'm looking at what I've done, I want to measure it. I want to see the stats. Okay, I've produced this much in revenue. I've done this much with investing. I've helped this many people with this problem. Those are measurable things to prove out what I've done before. Okay, I want you to pretend you're interviewing yourself for a job on your goals. Would you hire yourself to get your goals done? Okay, I wouldn't hire someone if they're like, yeah, I've done blah and blah. And I'm like, cool. Show me the data, show me the stats, like show me how much you did in sales or how big your business grew, how much you invested, how much you donate, or how many people you've helped. And they're like, oh, I don't have any of that. And I would be like, then I don't believe you. I don't believe you. What if you were just on a team of people who did that? And really the star players of the team who are the ones who did it. And you were just along for the ride. And you're like, oh, I did it too. Or you're the Brian Scalabrine of, for those of you that don't know Brian Scalabrine, basketball player with a ton of NBA championship rings. He rode the bench most of the time. He wasn't really that active in many of the games, but he was often on the championship team. So he vicariously was winning championships through what the star players were doing. Don't be the Brian Scalabrine of goals. Like, oh, I did blah, blah, blah. And then you dive into it, you're like, well, no, really, I worked for a company that did, and I wasn't the one doing it. They did. That guy did it, right? We want to know, what are you accomplishing? What are you good at? What are your personal stats? What did you actually produce? Otherwise, in a company, I would never hire you for a job if you can't be like, I produced graphics if I'm hiring you for graphic design. I produced this many recruits if I'm hiring you for HR. Right? I don't care that I was on a team and we did 10 recruits in a 6-month period and then blew up the company. It was awesome. And you were like the guy answering the emails. Right? So be honest with yourself. Don't try and embellish and fool yourself on your own goals. Realize life is long. Life is long and you need to play the long game. So if you need to say, okay, what I've done is not that huge yet. And so my 2025 goal is probably not going to be that huge either, but it's going to be a progression and an improvement upon what I did before. And I'm going to keep doing that and be consistent and persistent so that I can finally get to the stuff at the top, the big impact. Right? And the only reason someone wouldn't be willing to do that is they don't plan on persisting with their goal. They don't plan on persisting. They think I'm going to give it 1 year, and if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to jump to the next game. I'm going to do something different. And real success is I'm going to do all of this boring bottom stuff for 5 years, for 10 years, knowing that that's building towards my goal. And I'm going to persist when every other day I might want to quit. And it's tough. And I'm going to know that those are things I just need to go through. And there's going to be good times and bad times. But the why and the what at the very top, that's the reason I keep going. And then the other part I'm looking at is like all of this stuff needs to line up again with my values. So if the reasons why I'm doing this don't align with my values, if what I'm going to be doing doesn't align with my values, if how I'm going to carry it out doesn't align with my values, if the stuff that I did before that I can measure doesn't align with my values, that's a no-go, right? All of it needs to be aligned with my values. What do I care about? What are the things that are my non-negotiables? What are my do or dies? What are my always and never rules in life? And I need to be very clear about those. And I need to look at, okay, why am I doing this? Does that match those? What am I doing? Does that match those? What are my values? Because those are the things that at the end of the day, I've got to live with myself. And if I violate my own values, I'm not going to want to keep going. Okay, so as I'm going through like my 2025 goal setting, that's what I'm doing is I'm looking at, okay, how did 2024 go? What have I done? Good and bad. Okay, because I want to repeat the good. I want to not repeat the bad. I want to eliminate that. I need to be able to measure that. I'm looking at stats. I'm looking at numbers. I'm looking at things that I can actually see and observe. And I'm looking at, based on that, what can I accomplish in 2025? Okay. Does that align with my values? If yes, let's move on to, well, how would I go about that? Okay, what are some of the strategies that come to mind? Do those strategies align with my values? If yes, good, let's keep going. Well, why would I do these things? Why would I want this goal? Why would I want to accomplish that? Why would I continue to pursue this? That needs to align with my values too. If it doesn't, I'm not going to do it. If it does, if all of these things check off, then I start getting into plans and action. Okay, if you do all of this and you don't actually get into the plans, the nitty gritty, like on a day-to-day, a week-to-week, a month-to-month basis, how am I going to accomplish these things? Right? You don't have a plan, you have wishes. They're not going to happen at the end of 2025. So with my own self, I'm looking at what do I know is feasible for 2025? And I would rather set the goal too high and have the plans be too big and have the action be more than I can handle and miss it, because that miss is generally going to be bigger and better than, let me set something I know I can do. Okay, because your know what you can do is based on your level of thinking, and your level of thinking is the reason why you are where you are. So you need to be like, I don't think in a way that gets me to where I want to go. Otherwise, I would be there already. No matter how good I am, that always has to be your mindset. So I'm going to rig the game by putting a goal there and a plan there and levels of action there that I'm not used to, that are bigger than my level of thinking. So it forces my thinking out.
Hey, what's up? Jerry here. I just wanted to give you another reminder. Grab my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. It's going to be one of the best books you have ever read on finance. I can promise you that. You're going to love it. It's also a free offer. So if you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get that now.
That's one of the things that, with this book, Think and Grow Rich, I've always disagreed with it. I've never read the whole book. I got through parts of it and I was like, I can't. It doesn't make sense to me, right? Think and Grow Rich. Good. What if my thinking sucks? My thinking is the reason why I'm not growing rich in any area of my life. And I have realized when I lead with action, my thinking catches up. Right? So I think it's actually like grow rich, then think. Like do the actions that you know other people are doing to become successful in whatever thing you're trying to pursue. Your thinking will catch up with you. Most of the time, my thinking is the thing that catches up last. And I'm like, wow, my thinking was terrible. But it's a hindsight 2020 moment for me. It's never like let me by osmosis improve my level of thinking, and then magically my goals will come true. No. My thinking gets dragged kicking and screaming the entire time. I constantly have to turn off old unhelpful thoughts, moments from the past of failure or pain that I don't want to experience again, where I'm like, yeah, that's not applicable here. Let me go ahead and shut that off. Self-doubt, all this stuff. I have all of those things, guys. And that's the crazy neighbor who lives downstairs in the basement. I don't listen to that guy. So I'm not thinking to grow rich because that's usually bad. So I compartmentalize all that off. It's craziness. It's not going to help me with my goals. I look at other things outside of me that clearly get there. And I focus on doing those, associating with those. And I know that the crazy guy that lives in the basement will eventually move out of the basement. And he might protest it and he might fight it, but I'm going to keep one foot in front of the other and continue to go. So that's how I do goal setting. That's how I do goal setting. And sometimes I hit my goals for the year. Sometimes I don't. It's a game. Guess what? There's always going to be next year. There's always going to be another year. There's always going to be another season. You got to think like an athlete, professional athlete. Next season, we missed this year. Do we dissolve the team and quit the sport? No. We skill up. We recruit good people. We bring in the right people. We bring in the right systems. We work on the strategy so that next year we can try again. And that's the game, guys. It's about overcoming the obstacles on the way to your goals, predicting and thinking with, okay, this is something I'm going to have to deal with. It's part of the game. Solve the problems. Go through the obstacles. Maybe you achieve the goal, maybe you don't, but you're going to have a hell of a story at the end. Versus like, I can't even imagine it, but like going from one year to the next with no goals. Next year is going to be the same as this year. Okay, I couldn't do that. Like I can't even eat leftovers because I already had the food yesterday. Okay, I can't have the same of anything very often. Like I like new stuff, I like new experiences. So I want my next year not to be the same as 2024. Good or bad, I want a different story. I already experienced all the stuff of 2024. Right? So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, I'm creating change. I'm pursuing, I'm progressing, I'm overcoming. Like that's the real thing that's happening. And if you don't have a framework for that and you're just like, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to grow my business, I'm going to pay off my debt, I'm going to get my finances in order. If those are your goals, and I don't want to invalidate them, good, but you don't have the framework to accomplish them. It's not that goals don't work. It's not that you don't have them. It's that you don't know how to accomplish them. Okay, I'm going to lose weight. Good. What are your stats so far? Did you gain weight 2024? Because if you did, your stats are not that you're going to lose weight, because if you don't change drastically, you're probably going to gain weight, because your statistics and what you produce is weight gained. That's what you're good at with the very bottom there, right? What have I done? I've gained weight. Okay. So that's going to be something I need to curtail and curb and change. So if I've gained weight and I'm like, well, I don't want to repeat that again. I want to lose weight. That's the what. How am I going to do that? Okay, I'm going to have to hire a personal trainer because I don't go to the gym otherwise. I need to get rid of all of the food in my house that's not healthy because I know if there's cookies, I'm going to eat them. Those are some of the hows. Okay. Do those things align with my values? I value physical fitness. Okay, well, if I'm not physically fit and I value physical fitness, I'm actually in treason right now with my own values. Let's confront that. I am treasonous to my own values. I've betrayed what I said I care about. Okay, so it very much aligns with my values to lose the weight. Okay, why? Why do I want to lose the weight? Because I have a family. I want to be around for a long time. I don't want to be achy. I don't want to die young. I want to be able to, have my life become better and better every year, not be on a slight decline the whole time. Right. So that's the framework of like knowing these things and then like, okay, good. So then how am I going to start like specifically on a daily basis doing the actions that are going to result in weight loss by the end of the year? And it's going to take discipline and it's going to take persistence and it's going to take obstacles and barriers. And there's going to be wins as well. And there's going to be moments of happiness and joy and pleasure and experiencing all of this as part of the achievement of goals. There's not a goal in life that you're not going to have good and bad, obstacles and wins. And here's the last thing I'm going to give you. You have to teach yourself to operate with delayed gratification. One of the most important things with goal setting. If you take your chips off the table early, you forfeited the game. You're out. Right? So prolonging the reward the longer you can do that, the longer you can go. Let's say it's a cheat meal. Okay. I went to the gym today. I'm going to have a cookie now. You just undid going to the gym. You took your chips. Now you forfeited the game. You're out. You take your chips off the table. You're out. Right? So you need to think with how long can I leave my chips on the table? How long can I prolong that and stay in the game? And maybe I don't have a cheat meal for a month. That's how long I can leave my chips on the table. The longer, the better, because it helps your progress. Okay, that's what I've got for you today on goal setting. I really hope that this was helpful. I hope this gave you clarity because I want to see you achieving your goals in 2025. And if you have financial goals, my team and I are the ones to help you with that. We can help you walk through this framework with your finances. This is something we work with all of our members on. You can be included in that. Have a great holiday season. Start your 2025 strong. Comment below if you have questions or thoughts. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.
Hey, this is Jerry Fetta here. I want to thank you for watching my video, watching my content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn more about the blueprint to financial freedom and how you can achieve passive income that exceeds your savings, your expenses, your taxes, your generosity, and build wealth like the top 1%, I want to encourage you, grab a copy of my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. You can go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or you can click the link in the description of the video here. The copy is free. You cover your shipping. We'll send the book out to you, and we'll send you an email with a bunch of great bonus material also for free. Get the book, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on my next content.